Hey traders, what's going on? This week's lesson, I'm going to go over price action. This would be lesson number 1 on price action. I had quite a few emails regarding the interpretation of price action and how a SMTM trader interprets price action. And since today was kind of difficult to interpret, I decided today would be a good way to do this lesson. So basically, before I go over the lesson, I want to ask a question. This is a 10-minute, this is a 30-minute. The SMTM trader, we use multi-time frames. And of course, we don't use indicators. Our 4 main components is trend, plus volume, plus support and resistance, plus price pattern. I believe that all of these are needed to help correctly interpret price actions to give you high probability trades. So at this point, I'm going to use this 10-minute chart as a primary time frame. From looking at this chart, I want you to take a second and see being bullish or bearish, which way presents the low risk and more high odds probability trades. Should you be bullish or should you be bearish? So I want you to take a second. You can pause it and look at this and make a determination. Okay, as we see right here this morning, I did a video on pretty moves. This was definitely a pretty move up. If you didn't get in here, then I'm definitely not chasing this up. And even the fact as doing the SMTM method here, this needed a little more information. So basically this wasn't a prime setup for us to get into at this point. Now we came up to here. This was an area of show me the money and also resistance to where sellers have brought prices down before. But this was an area which has already had prior test. By this already being a tested area, as a SMTM trader, I need just a little bit more information or confirmation in order for me to take this short, and I'll go over tested areas of support and resistance another time and more significant meaning behind which areas are more significant than others. But at this point, this was also another pretty move down. Now if you nailed to a small enough time frame, depending on which time frame you use, this could have been a short play. So you probably could have found some entries in here, but based on this time frame, this was fine right here. So that was a nice move down. Our philosophy is we don't need all the money, just some of the money. So if you can focus on high probability trades, then you can always increase your contract size. But if you're always getting stopped out because your plays are not really high probability, then you're going to be kind of hesitant to increase your contract size or share size due to the fact that your plays usually have low odds setup or is sometime hit and miss. So based on this scenario, bullish or bearish. So now I'm going to put a few things up. As you can see, I plotted these lines on the 30-minute and on the excuse me, and on the 10-minute. At this point in time, the color is not important, but I like to call these lines SMTM lines. These are show me the money lines. So if you say I have to use an indicator, which of course is really just a simple line, this would be what it is. And so these lines show me where buyers have showed me the money, where they're stepping up. This is not just a subjective point like a moving average that I made up. This is actual areas, as you can see, that buyers have stepped up to buy here. Now as you can see, we had this big drop, and actually you can see that we made lower lows here pretty much in this time frame. This was a lower low, this area is the same, and so that is bearish. But due to the fact that this is bearish, I need reference points where buyers have stepped up to show us the money. So at this point, as you can see, since we use price action, as this went up, we saw volume decrease. So it was less participation in here. So this was a shorting opportunity. But as we take note that we are in the area when we short into this area of show me the money. So we wouldn't suspect this to be a runner. Now it can, but we wouldn't take a trade expecting this to go like that. So when we enter of course in a smaller time frame. So our goal would be to enter in a smaller time frame somewhere in this bar right here. And so at this point, this would be the only short. At this point, the rest of these trades will be long. This is where we would step up at. This would be where we would step up at. Now, why would we step up here? As you can look, when we came into this area of show me the money, right here, this was a lot of buyer participation in here. This volume peaked up here. Well, actually, volume increased in this area. So in this area, as we know that it is not, professionals don't short at support. Usually novice short at support. In this area, you can see with this high volume, this bar was quickly reversed. This whole body, this bar engulfed this. So this quickly reversed. This told us that, hey, the bears have lost momentum and the bulls are stepping up. But as a SMTM trader, we would buy somewhere in here in a smaller time frame. And in our smaller time frame, we have SMTM lines to show us these points of entry. And we will be looking to take out somewhere in here, because we do know that we are making we have selling pressure here, and as we can see, we have selling pressure here, and this area of supply and demand here shows us that it is sellers up there. And as we come here, once again, when we got in this area, sellers stepped up to bring prices lower. Now I wouldn't be looking to take this long. That'd be another lesson. But at this point, the bulls tried to rally, and when they rallied, selling pressure just stepped up. And with a bar like this, if you were short this bar, your expectations would be what? The price would go lower, and that's exactly what sellers were expecting. But when you use multi-time frames to do your analysis process, when we look here at the 30, we see this big bar, and whether you know it or not, this volume increased here than these prior two bars. We had buying, as you can see on this 30, we had buying all up in this area of show me the money. Then we had this big bar that closed on this high, and this had increasing volume from the last bar. If I click on it, then we can actually read and see what it is. But this gave an indication that, hey, people are stepping up buying here. And so at this point, when I see something like this, I'm thinking, oh, okay, this could be a failed attempt to go down. So I'm looking to see, and as we see what happens here, we see by this bar, buyers buying interest increased. Now normally tell you topping tail bar is means reversal and warning, but that's why you have to combine price action and support and resistance. That's why we use this whole equation. This price pattern right here, this pattern here is most effective when it's in an area of resistance. So at this point, not being in the area of resistance, then this tells me sellers tried to bring it down, but bulls were strong here next to the support area. So any attempt down would be small, would be viable in a smaller time frame. So in these tails, I wouldn't have looked to get in here. This is the entry. If this wouldn't have formed a tail, then I would have missed the entry. But this is the entry in a smaller time frame. And here, this is towards the end of the day. But this being bullish presented the best odds during this time, because here we're in a defined area where buyers have continued to show us the money. Now, novice might see this and be thinking short each time, and this big pretty bar right here, like, oh, they're really looking to go short based on this pretty bar. But we don't short at areas of show me the money right here. We're actually bullish areas of show me the money. And so at these SMTM lines, all I'm thinking about is bullish, and that's it. And when you use price action with these four components, this will greatly increase your odds. Now you can use indicators to help speed the analysis process up. But basically, when you want to pick entries, using price action will help definitely increase your odds of your trades having a successful follow through. Okay, traders, this week lesson has ended, and I'll talk to you next week. Or if I see something particular this week, I'll put another lesson up. Talk to you later, traders.